Hello, I'm Colin Gallagher, CEO at Onward and Upward, and you're listening to the Association 100 podcast, where each week we interview association leaders from across the country to hear how they're trying new things, taking big risks, and delivering value for their members. We'll explore the realities of what it means to work in and with associations and bring you the insights and inspiration you need to advance your career and make big changes at your association. Let's get started.
Welcome back to another episode of the A100 podcast. I'm Meghan Henning, and I'm your host for today. I'm recording on the show floor during the ASAE annual conference here in Cleveland, and I am so excited for today's conversation. My guest is Stephanie Denvir, Chief Member Experience Officer with the American Society for Quality. Stephanie is a seasoned leader with more than 15 years of experience in management partnership development and program oversight. She leads the overall ASQ global member experience and value proposition with responsibilities for the membership, component relations, events and partnerships, standards, and strategic marketing teams. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hey, Megan, it's so great to be with you today.
So you're in charge of a lot of stuff.
A lot, but it's exciting because it all feeds into the amazing member experience that we're trying to create to retain our members and to grow our membership.
Tell us about your association.
Our association is focused on quality across every industry, which is awesome because you get to learn from each other. Our members can learn from other industries' best practices. But then also we're a global society in over 130 countries. So you get that global reach and you also get to learn from people all over the world. And when we look at quality, it's the basics of quality, understanding how quality can be used in industries, in jobs. A lot of our members are in manufacturing and how quality can create excellence in operations, continuous improvement, and help with project management, so many things. Really, quality is embedded in everything that you do.
That's pretty cool. As the Chief Member Experience Officer, can you share some key strategies you've implemented to enhance the member experience and the value proposition for your membership?
Sure. With our current strategic plan, we've really been focused on segmentation and personalization to really create that one ASQ while giving our members that personal touch. So we've been focusing on our messaging, how we can make it personalized, how we can really look at our different audiences and target that messaging, highlight the member benefits that meet their needs, and really focus on meeting our members where they're at.
That's great. And how does ASQ foster engagement within its geographically and topically diverse member communities? Because you named a lot. So how do you do that?
And the amazing thing is we have over 230 geographic communities, which when I started it here, I'm in awe that we have all of these amazing members committed to their local communities. And then we've got over 26 different technical communities. So there's something for everyone. Which makes it challenging, right? Because a lot of those groups, they focus on virtual and in-person meetings, which is fantastic, but not everybody can engage that way, or maybe there's a time conflict. So one of the things that we really enhanced in the last year, we launched a new online community platform, and that has been a game changer for driving our engagement. Our engagement numbers on that platform are through the roof. There's so many people that are posting. That's a great way to get their questions answered, to connect with anyone, again, around the world or in their specific geographic or technical community. They can dive in, ask specific questions, and build those connections 24/7. So it's really been a great tool for us to drive engagement through those communities and just for all of our members.
And I think that's great because the other thing is when you think about how the experience has evolved, right? Over the years where you went to a conference, you sat, somebody spoke on stage, and then you left. And now you're talking about how you can sign on and ask these questions. And it's like you're really meeting members where they are because everyone isn't able to do all the different things, but you're found a way to reach them all. So that's pretty amazing.
And I would add to that, because I think the other thing, in addition to just answering questions, we're using different features where they can find opportunities for volunteer engagement. Not only does that help our sections and divisions, it also helps that member gain some experience, some leadership to give back. We also are leveraging a mentoring tool that, again, can help them with their professional development and career paths, as well as something that's called, we call it our speaker expert directory. So then if you want to share your thought leadership, other members can find you. So it's not just the online discussions. This tool has really brought a unique member experience.
I love all of that. With the rapid evolution of member needs and expectations, because the experience is constantly changing, how do you stay ahead of these changes to ensure that all of these benefits are happening for your members?
I think one of the things I've noticed, we have a dedicated group of member leaders, and they're really amazing. And often when we're looking at launching a new technology or really any kind of change, we partner with our members, our member leaders, as well as industry partners, depending on what we're doing, and bring everyone along. Something that is key to quality is the voice of the customer. That is really core to what quality is about. And so we use that with the work that we're doing at our society. We make sure we understand the voice of our customer and then tie that back to the work that we're doing. And when I think about a specific example, through our strategic plan that we're working on currently, there were two things we were focused on in my area: governance, really modernizing our governance, as well as looking at our membership, the personalization and segmentation. And we created task forces to look at this with our members. And then we worked with strong industry partners to help us identify best practices and research that our members could look at and say, yeah, this makes sense for us, and then create that path forward to drive success. And it worked really well with our governance. I'm excited that we were able to amend our bylaws through this process because we brought everyone along on that journey.
That's great. So switching topics a little bit, can you discuss how you're leveraging technology to improve member experiences? And I know you hit on some of them with the different things that you've mentioned, but in terms of segmentation and personalization content, what have been some of the most effective technological enhancements, do you think?
I would say one of the things that drew me to joining ASQ was ASQ is not shy away from technology. They jump in feet first. And I think that starts with the leadership, because they want to embrace technology and know for us to stay current and really be leaders, that's essential. So we've implemented this last year, a brand new AMS. We're then looking at how do we integrate new email platform that integrate with our AMS so that we can personalize, right? We've already started that path, but so that all of our messages can be always personalized to our members. Also, one of the things I loved at our annual conference this year, we offered a tool that really focused on accessibility, where we created closed caption for any session that people could follow along. Put it in any language. As I mentioned, we're a global society. So people could take these headphones, they'd scan a QR code, and they could follow the session no matter what language they were in. And even folks who, I had a woman say, I really couldn't hear that speaker well. And I said, did you use the app? And she said, oh my goodness, I'm going to use it. And she came up to me and thanked me because she used it the rest of the meeting. So really trying to look at what do our members need? How can technology help? I'm really excited. We're looking at some cutting edge things to look for with AI and how we can leverage AI for content curation and to really, again, personalize that member experience based on the content they're looking at. It's really exciting. I feel like we have so many opportunities in front of us with technology.
I think that's great. And I love that with the different languages, it just makes it more inclusive and collaborative. Sometimes people think of technology as separating us, and I know it does in certain respects, but this is a great example of it not doing.
Absolutely.
So looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest challenges and opportunities for member organizations like yours in the next 5 years?
One of the things I think about, and I talk with my team about this all of the time, in order for us to move forward, we really have to look at the legacy programs that we have that everybody loves. Is there ROI? Is it still meeting the needs? And I think sometimes people are afraid to stop or make change to some of those legacy programs. But if you don't, you cannot evolve. But where I see a combination for opportunity and challenge, AI. It's the biggest opportunity we all have, but with it comes so many challenges. And so that's where we're looking at it and thinking about what governance do we need to put in place? What are some of the risks? How do we protect our member data, our member, the content? But I feel like there could be so much rewards, but we also have to think through what those challenges may be and how we can address them. For us, an absolute must is engaging the next generation. And I think that, again, there's challenges and opportunities. And if we don't, we will not exist as a society, as many of the folks here at ASAE. So that is really, we've got to dive in, and we've been working, we've created several advisory groups with NextGen to make sure we're meeting their needs. But that brings challenges to this is how we've always done it. And so changing the mindset of some of our amazing members who've been here to say, got to tweak it a little bit to meet that next generation.
It's so true, because this is how we've done it doesn't mean that this is how we should do it. And so I love that you're doing that. So this is great.
And can I add one more thing? Because I think in order to drive any change, it's essential that your board and member leaders are part of that journey, because they will help ensure that it's a success.
I think that's great. Thank you so much for being here. Now, we do have just a fun section, just so our listeners get to know you. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. It's right literally borders Detroit.
Nice. Plus, that was a great move. What's your Starbucks order?
I love vanilla latte with oat milk. Maybe not as exciting, but I'm like, it's my favorite.
I had that this morning, and for some reason, they put whipped cream all over the top of it. It did not taste the same.
No.
If you won the lottery tomorrow, would you still work?
I would, but I would volunteer. I think that I want to give back. I firmly believe that we need to be the change we want to see in the world. So that would be my way to continue working, but in a volunteer capacity.
That's great. I feel like we have been, I don't know how many hundreds of podcasts we've done, and we've asked that question. And I really think that all great leaders say they're going to work. So I think that is fantastic. And we've yet to interview anybody who said, no, I think I'd skip out. So what is the last show you've binge watched?
The Bear. I loved the first 2 seasons. I loved it all, but it was not as good, I felt, as the last 2, but it's still, I loved it. I lived in Chicago for over a decade. And so I think that's part of the reason I loved it so much.
It's on my list, so I will have to check it out.
Highly recommend it.
Food you can't live without.
Ice cream.
And it's being served here.
Yes, I will get my fill.
And what's your bucket list travel destination?
I would love to go to Africa. When I was early in my career, I was supposed to go to South Africa with an association that we were managing, but I had the opportunity. I was not looking for a job, but when the opportunity knocks, I took the opportunity thinking I'll go to Africa at some point, and still 15 years later, I have not been. So it is definitely on my bucket list.
That'd be great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I know our listeners will too.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's episode. The Association 100 podcast is a production of Onward and Upward Marketing and Communications, where our mission is to make associations and nonprofits the go-to source in their industries through earned media and thought leadership. This podcast is an extension of the A100 newsletter, a bi-monthly collection of best practices, top trends, helpful ideas, and smart strategies delivered straight to your inbox. Have you undertaken a big change at your association, or do you have some words of wisdom from the trenches of association life? We want to hear from you, and so do our listeners. Drop us a note at info@onwardupward.com. That's info@onwrdupwrd.com. If you like what you heard today, be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share with your friends and colleagues. We're available anywhere podcasts are found. Come back next week for more association inspiration and insights. Thanks for tuning in.